At 80, I have made a lot of decisions in my life. Some I am proud of. One I deeply regret: moving into a nursing home. My family encouraged it. They told me I would have everything I needed: care, safety, company, comfort. I trusted them because I loved them, and because, honestly, the idea of being looked after felt like a relief after years of managing everything alone. I walked through those doors believing the hardest part was behind me. I was wrong. What I found inside was nothing like what I had been promised. And the hardest part, the part that still sits heavy on my chest, is that nobody told me any of this before I signed the papers. Not my doctor, not my family, not a single person who had been through it themselves. That is why I am telling you now. I know many of you watching this are thinking about this decision, and whether for yourself or for someone you love. And before you take that step, there are 6 hard truths I need you to hear. Because once you move in, the world changes in ways you cannot fully prepare for until you are already living them. Stay with me until the end, because the 6th truth is the one that stops people cold, and it is the one nobody mentions until it is too late to matter. Truth. 1. You lose control of your own life. Immediately. The biggest shock after moving in was not the small room or the unfamiliar faces. It was realizing, within the first 48 hours, that I was no longer in charge of my own time. Before the nursing home, my days were mine. I woke when I was ready. I ate when I was hungry. I stepped outside when I felt like it. Small decisions, yes, but they were my decisions. And they were what made each day feel like my own life and not somebody else's schedule. Inside, everything runs on the facility's timetable. Breakfast at a fixed hour whether you are hungry or not. Lights out at a time that may have nothing to do with when you are tired. Want to take a walk? You may need staff availability first. Want to stay up an hour later reading? That depends on the shift. What I did not understand before moving in is how quickly you stop fighting the schedule and simply absorb it. Within a few weeks, I stopped asking. I started fitting myself around their system. And in doing that, I began losing the small daily choices that had always made me feel like myself. The independence you have today, the ability to decide the shape of your own morning, is not a small thing. You will not know how much it costs until the day you have to ask permission for it. If you are considering this move, ask yourself honestly, are you truly ready to hand the rhythm of your day to someone else? Because the adjustment is more profound than anyone prepares you for. Truth 2. Your family will visit less than you expect. This one is the hardest truth to say out loud because it is not really about blame. It is about how life actually works when you are no longer in the middle of it. When I moved in, my family came regularly. My daughter visited once a week. My grandchildren came on weekends. It felt manageable. Not the same as home, but connected. Then slowly, without anyone deciding it was happening, the visits thinned. A week became 2. Calls replaced car trips. Holidays that were promised got complicated by plans that came up. And the painful truth is that they were not being cruel. Life moves fast for people who are in the middle of it. When you are not physically present in someone's daily world, out of sight genuinely does become, without anyone intending it, out of mind. I spent evenings sitting with my phone in my hand, wanting to call my son, and putting the phone back down because I did not want to be seen as needing too much. I did not want to be a burden. So, I waited. And some of those calls never came. I am not sharing this to make anyone feel guilty. I am sharing it because it is the reality that almost no one mentions when the nursing home brochure is being passed around the kitchen table. The people who love you will still love you, but proximity matters more than anyone admits. And once you are removed from the everyday fabric of your family's life, The distance, emotional and physical, grows in ways that hurt. Before making this decision, have an honest conversation about what regular contact will actually look like, not what everyone hopes it will look like. What it will realistically look like once the first month has passed. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Now, let us move forward. Truth 3. You will lose your sense of purpose faster than you think. Before the nursing home, I had things that needed me. Small things, watering my plants, making my own coffee, keeping my space the way I liked it. Those routines sound minor, but they gave each day a shape and a reason. They made me feel useful inside my own life. In the nursing home, those things disappear almost immediately. Meals arrive ready, cleaning is handled. There is nothing that depends on you, nothing that waits for you to do it, nothing that goes undone if you do not show up. At first, that sounds restful. After a few weeks, it begins to feel like erasure. I watched a man down the corridor, a retired carpenter who had spent his entire working life building things with his hands, sit in a chair every afternoon with nothing to do. He had been a maker, a fixer, a person whose identity was built around creating things. In there, his hands had nothing to work on. He told me once, quietly, that he felt useless. Not bored, useless. That is a different and much heavier thing. When you remove the small responsibilities that structure a person's day, you do not give them rest. You take away the reason to get up. The mind follows the body. The body follows the mind. The decline in both is faster than anyone in the brochure will tell you. Purpose is not a luxury. It is a biological necessity. And it is one of the first things the nursing home environment quietly removes. Truth 4. Your physical health will decline faster in there. I want to be direct about this one because it surprised me more than almost anything else. When I moved in, I was doing well for my age. Not running marathons, but walking, cooking, managing my own home, keeping my body moving. I had built years of small physical habits that kept me functional. Inside the nursing home, yet those habits evaporated. Meals came to me. Help was available at the push of a button. Every logistical challenge that had once required me to move, lift, carry, or walk was now handled by someone else. The system was designed to make things easier. What it also did, without anyone intending it, was make me weaker. Within 3 months, getting up from a chair had become an effort that once required no thought. My legs, which I had kept strong through years of daily walking, began to feel unfamiliar under me. I sat more because sitting was the default. I moved less because movement was no longer required. I watched the same thing happen to residents around me. People who had walked in independently were using walkers within 6 months. Others who had been sharp and active began to drift. The facility provides care, but care and activity are not the same thing. Comfort without movement is not rest. It is atrophy. If you or someone you love moves into a nursing home and intends to maintain physical health, you have to fight for it actively. The environment does not support it naturally. Every system is designed for ease, and ease, for an aging body that needs resistance and movement to survive, is the enemy. If you are still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let us move forward. On Truth 5, your privacy and dignity change completely. This truth is the most personal and the most difficult to put into words. but it matters, and it deserves to be said plainly. At home, I had my space. I closed my door when I wanted silence. I used my bathroom on my own terms. I dressed and undressed without an audience. I moved through my own life as a person, not as a patient. In the nursing home, that changes. Staff come in and out on schedules. Room checks happen whether or not you are in the middle of something. Assistance with bathing, dressing, and basic personal care is often necessary, and the staff are professional and kind, but needing that help and accepting it from people you did not choose alters something deep in how you see yourself. There is a specific and irreducible loss in being spoken to as a resident rather than as a person, in having your name called from a doorway before anyone waits for a response, in finding that the choices available to you, what is on the menu today, what time the common room opens, are decided by policies you had no part in creating. Dignity is not dramatic. It lives in small things. The right to close your own door, the right to decide what you eat, the right to be addressed as yourself and not as a category. These things feel invisible until they are gone, and once they go, you feel their absence in every single day. I do not say this to frighten anyone. I say it because it is true, and because knowing it before you walk in is better than discovering it the week after you have signed. Truth 6. Leaving is far harder than you were told. This is the truth I wish someone had told me before anything else. Before the brochure, before the family meeting, before the tour. I told myself it was temporary, that I would try it, and if it did not suit me, I would simply leave and go back home. That is what I believed when I signed. Here is what actually happened. Within a few months, my family had rearranged my house. Items I had not explicitly asked them to deal with had been moved, donated, or sold, not out of malice but out of practicality. They assumed I was settled, and while the house still existed, it no longer felt entirely mine in the way it had before. When I raised the idea of returning, I was met with concern. Are you sure you can manage alone? Wouldn't it be safer to stay a little longer? We just want what is best for you. These are not unreasonable things for a family to say, but what they also do is shift the weight of the decision. What once felt like my choice had quietly become something I needed to justify to people who had grown comfortable with the arrangement. And then there was my own body. The months of reduced movement had taken a toll I had not fully reckoned with. The confidence I had once had in my physical ability to manage a home had softened. The fear of falling, of managing alone, of something going wrong. These fears had grown in the quiet of that room, fed by an environment that communicated every day that I needed to be cared for. The nursing home, designed to feel temporary, has a way of becoming permanent through the smallest and most reasonable-sounding steps. And the home adjusts around your absence. The body adjusts to reduce demand. The mind adjusts to the idea that this is simply how things are now. Moving in is a decision that feels reversible. For most people, it is not. Not because the door is locked, but because by the time you want to leave, the world you would return to has quietly reorganized itself around your being gone. Looking back, I do not regret growing older. I do not regret needing help. I regret believing that a nursing home was the only way to get it, and I regret not knowing enough to ask better questions before I signed. Does that mean nursing homes are always the wrong choice? No. There are people who genuinely need the level of medical care that only a facility can provide. There are situations where moving in is not just the easiest decision, but the right one. And I am not here to tell you that those situations do not exist. But I am here to tell you that the decision is almost always made too quickly, with too little information, and with too much weight placed on what feels safest in the moment, rather than what preserves the life you still have. If I could go back, I would have looked much harder at alternatives. Home care, community support, Modifications to my house that would have made independent living safer and easier. I would have asked harder questions and waited longer before deciding. I would have insisted on knowing what I know now before I ever walked through those doors. The life you have today, your routines, your independence, the quiet freedom to decide what kind of morning you want to have is worth protecting with everything you have, for as long as you possibly can. If this video has made you think differently about a decision that is currently on the table, I am glad. Please leave a comment below and tell me what resonated with you most or share your own experience. Your words help others who are watching this in the middle of this exact decision. If someone in your life needs to hear these 6 truths before they sign, share this video with them today. That share may be the most important thing you do this week. Kindly like this video if it helped you. Subscribe and turn on the bell so we can keep having honest conversations like this one. Take good care of yourselves. I will see you in the next video.